Welcome back to Sidekicked, a Marvel Champions podcast where we are all about the allies. We'll teach you who they are in the comics, discuss their cards, and what kind of decks they might be played in. I am one of your hosts, Boomguy, and with me today is...
I'm first. Levi Lewis.
It's your boy Earth Twister.
You are first. Earth Twister, you're second. That means last but not least is the man himself,
Jason Sketch. Glad to have you here.
There he is.
Somebody pinch me.
I'm real. I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, we're glad you're here, Boom Guy.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I'm a fan of your guys' show. I like what you guys do here. I like your niche that you have, your hook, and I'm excited to be here to be part of it. This is going to be cool.
It means a lot that you've been take the time to come and hang out with us. So, and to be a fan, that's great. We love the winning hand as well.
I like fans.
Like fans? Good to know. Well, sweet. It has been a long time since we've had a guest. So we may sound a little awkward as we go along. I think we had Mr. Manic Knight. And so he helped us out last week, but it's been a while since we've had a celebrity on our podcast here. So Mr. Solo came last year, and now we've got Boomguy.
That's very flattering. Thank you. I would scarcely call myself a celebrity, but I enjoy getting around and hanging out and talking to people, and I think making content is always more fun if you're doing it with other people. Just opens those creative juices, and this is just fun, and making friends and hanging out and playing the game is what we're all about. So happy to be here.
Again, thank you so much. It's awesome. What we'll do today is pretty simple. We're just going to kind of walk through, just kind of doing some interview questions for you. I think you've probably answered a lot of these questions before, but maybe some things have changed since the last time. We'll do a quick strike segment with you where we'll ask you this or that questions, and those are not listed on here, but we do have them listed on a different page, so hopefully they surprise you a little bit.
Kind of like Quick Strike does usually in the game.
I like that. Do I get to ask you guys questions back?
No. Absolutely. We would love to be able to answer any questions you have for us.
All right, love that.
And then, of course, we'll dive in. I think you've got an awesome ally for us today. We'll talk about what we played recently and then jump into, I think, a mailbag at some point as well. So we kind of have bullet points as we go along, so we may jump around because, we're from the 90s and we like that song. So
yes. Hold on. You said that we're going to jump into a mailbag. You have a physical mailbag for us each to jump into. Is that what's happening here?
It's wide open, so whenever you're ready, it's kind of a magic bag, I guess, and you just kind of dive in and find whatever letter you like.
Okay.
I have seen people jump into mailbags before.
Is this like a Santa Claus bag?
Is it like Hermione's purse? It's bottomless, and we just keep going.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that is an IP I never dived into. Never got into Harry Potter. I know who Hermione is.
I don't know.
So
look,
of course.
I'm the biggest nerd here. I saw the movies and I read the books 3 times.
Oh wow.
I read the books once.
Like I said, I'm the biggest nerd
and
here.
I did see the movies.
Well, that is one IP my wife does like, and I need to get into it pretty quickly because every time I talk about it, I get a glare for not having finished the movies. So, let's dive in. We're super excited to have you here. We've got some questions for you, and we'll kind of go from there. So, Levi, would you mind asking our very first question?
So, what brings you here today, Boom Guy?
Mostly boredom. I had nothing better to do.
That's normally what brings me here.
That's not true. I was brought here because I like the show that you guys do. I like supporting other content creators in the space, and I chatted with Jason, and he invited me on. I thought that would be cool. I think I mentioned you. I try to mention content creators on my episodes whenever I can. When I find new ones, I think I mentioned you guys at some point, just to get awareness out there. And I like the hook of your podcast. Like I said up top, I like what you guys do here. And I was happy to come on and talk about a card that I don't want to spoil it, but I'm very excited to talk about it. I won't spoil my thoughts yet. So yeah, I'm just here to hang out, talk champions. Like, what's better than that?
Absolutely nothing's better than that. We love champions. So that's why we do what we do. And we're excited to hear you enjoy our hook. The allies are a unique part of the game, and then getting to see their history, because I've always enjoyed who am I playing as, why am I playing as this character, and why do they do these things? And so being able to connect it back to that makes it more exciting.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree. It's a fun hook. I love content creators come on and they come into the space and they have like a really defined thing that they're doing. And so I really appreciate that you guys came in from day one not scattershot like, oh, an episode on this and an episode on that, which can work. But you guys came with a very clear delineation of what you're going to do and how it's going to flow. Having done something similar myself, I appreciate it.
Yeah, but if you continue listening to all the episodes, we're scattershot all over the place on those episodes.
I mean, if you listen to my podcast, it's the same thing. We have a central card. And I remember early on, I got some comments. People would say like, oh my gosh, an hour on a single card. Like, no way, I could never listen. It's like, okay. But if you listen to the episodes, it's really like 20 minutes on that card. And the rest of it is us talking about whatever, decks or what I'm playing or, I don't know, my antics on microphone, whatever. But yeah.
Well, so what is the name of your show? What do you do in the Marvel Champions community?
Oh, yeah. Well, the name of my show and what I do are very different answers. But the name of my show, I have a podcast called Winning Hand. It is anywhere you get audio podcasts and also on YouTube. So you can just Google Winning Hand or go to YouTube. There used to be another Winning Hand channel, actually, when I started mine. Funny story. It was about poker, I think. It was called Winning Hand something. And so when I created my channel, they had like 10,000 subscribers. And I was like, oh, this is terrible. So I talked to my co-host and I was like, we might have to rename, guys. There's another channel that's way bigger than ours. They have the same name already. I think that they deleted their channel or something. They're not there anymore. So I am now the biggest Winning Hand channel. Thank you. Cue the applause. Thank you. But yeah, what do I do in this space? I do a lot, actually. I find myself being someone who has difficulty saying no sometimes. So I am one of the organizers of the MCDC convention, which is in October in Northern Virginia. I run the Winning Hand channel. I do alt art, custom content. I just started a Discord server that is meant to be not focused on myself. It's focused on the community. But I started it, and we're kind of growing that. And we play a lot of games on webcam and online. So if you're into that kind of stuff, come check it out. I end up having my fingers in a lot of pies. I make a lot of guest appearances on people's shows like this, if they will have me. And so I end up doing a lot, but kind of a bit of everything.
I like pie.
Everyone likes pie.
You can keep your fingers out of my pie, though, because I don't like other people touching my pie.
Yeah. Agree to disagree.
Okay.
It is really cool that you get a chance to jump into a lot of different podcasts and different spaces. And the convention, I'm curious, I know that's not normal of our questions here, but you guys spent a lot of time getting ready and prepared for that. What was that process like a little bit, getting something built from the ground up?
I mean, it's an experience, I have been attending the Con of Heroes in Minnesota since it started. So I've been there all 5 years, and it's a great time. I've seen it grow. I've seen kind of how they run things. I'm friends with Kennedy Hawk outside of Marvel Champions and Hone as well, so I kind of talked to them. Last year in 2025, I helped organize some stuff, so I was involved in some of the organization and just helping to prepare. I had a very small part, but I did help a little bit. And then we decided, me and a couple of people in my local area, that we think the game can support 2 conventions, and we think this is a good centrally located area for people to come to. I live around Washington, D.C., so we started talking. We made a group, and we kind of thought about, what would it take to get there? We need a venue. We need something that's close to a hotel for people to travel. The biggest thing on year 1 was just trying to figure out how many people would actually attend. So we had no way of knowing how many people would come, so we booked a space that would hold about 100 people, and we thought, honestly, I don't know if it's told us before, but if we're being honest, we kind of thought if we get 40 or 50 people, I think that's pretty successful. We sold all 100 tickets within a week, and we were pretty surprised about that. So we immediately thought, okay, we started creating some custom content, some alt art player cards that we gave out, and it was very successful. We had everybody there. It was packed in. Then we decided we were going to go bigger for the second year, now that we have kind of an audience established. I think luckily some of the people in the organizing team were well known in the community already. Some people know me. People know some of the other people as well. We're out there. So that helped having some name recognition. We weren't starting from scratch. This year is going to be awesome. We have so much planned. We've been creating and testing and designing content basically since the last one ended. In fact, we play tested the first scenario that we're going to do at the con at last year's con. So we were already play testing it. We sat down at the convention and we play tested the first scenario in person. And I can't give away yet what that is, but since then we have expanded even more. There is going to be, I don't know. I'm going to give away stuff we haven't told anybody yet, but it's about a scenario pack's worth of content that we're creating.
Oh, wow.
And it's incredible. It is going to be stuff that people haven't seen before that I think is going to go over very well. We've been playtesting extensively. We now are expanding to more playtesters because the initial beta testing is finished. And I'd say we're about halfway, maybe total, all the way through this stuff. We'll have player cards again that we're going to give away, alt art cards of some reprints and stuff that people can't get anymore with alternate art, which is fun, but especially cards that are hard to get now with the environments rolling over and stuff. So we're planning that out. But yeah, it's going to be 3 days in October. The official dates will be announced soon. The website is mcdc.fun if you want to go check it out. I know I turned your question into a shameless plug for my own convention. But yeah, it's been a ton of fun to organize it. It's been a ton of fun to see people showing up and enjoying it and being excited for the next year. And it'd be great to see some of you guys there too.
We're hoping to make it. We're hoping to see if we can get that way up there. I know that, unfortunately, Con of Heroes, we have some of the things going on at that time. But it's nice to see that there's one in the fall and one in the spring right now. And I think there's a second one that's been made recently too in the winter.
Yeah. AssembleCon, I think it's called. Brant from Step Into the Portals organizing that at his game store in Connecticut. That is coming up. Actually, it may have already happened by the time this airs, but it's in middle of February. I think they have a couple events throughout the year as well. They're a little bit smaller. I should mention that we sold 100 tickets last year. We have about double the space we did last year, so we are expecting more people this year. So if you want to come to MCDC, please do. If you want to go to Con of Heroes, please do. We don't compete with them. We work together with the Con of Heroes organizers, so we don't step on each other's toes at all.
That's great.
You sold within 24 hours for your first one, right? Something like that?
Yeah. Well, we had a space for 100 people, and we opened up like 50 tickets, and those were sold in the first day or two. Like, they were all gone. So then we opened up the rest of the tickets that we were kind of holding for later, and within a week, they were all gone. So it was faster than we expected.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I remember like hearing about it and like, sweet. And I went to go like work out time off and then came back like, oh, it's all sold out already. So that's wild.
Yeah, we had a long wait list of people that we just couldn't get in, but we had a wait list going in case people dropped out or whatever. So yeah, so this year, if you want to sign up for, announcements and everything, obviously if you follow me on any platform, you'll hear about it. But if you go to mcdc.fun, you can sign up for our newsletter there, and then you'll get updates when things are happening. So if you want to follow along, that's an easy way to do it.
I will do that right now as we're getting ready for our next question. But the amount that I've heard about Dr. Doom and the Fantastic Four set that you guys made, I need to go print that off because it sounds like it's one of the funnest sets that have been made in a long time.
It's super fun. Shout out to Jonah, one of our organizers. He designed that basically from scratch, and then we all play tested it. But yeah, he was the principal designer of that. Awesome. He's one of our organizers. It's downloadable for free on our website. So print and play. We give it everything away. It's the same thing this year. If you can't make it, we'll give away all the content on the website. You'll be able to download it after the con.
And that's mcdc.fun?
.fun. Yes, that is an internet suffix that does exist. That is a real website. I promise that is not a scam. But when we set up the website and bought the domain, we thought it was a scam. It's not.
Wait, hold up. Why is there a virus downloading on my computer right now?
No, just click OK. It's got to get through that screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just run the program.
Proceed.
It works.
Allow mcdc.fun to run all executives on my computer.
Yep, just click OK. It's fine.
Just that constant loop of the thumbs up from Lazy Titan. So
that's all it is, yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, this looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super.
All right. Well, Earth Twister, it looks like you got another good question there for Boomguy.
Yeah, so I feel like if people know you, they're going to know the answer to this question, but maybe not. Who is your favorite hero?
Oh, man, that's such a hard question. There's like 55 now. How many are we at?
I think 60 last I counted with Civil
60?
War.
And then, Wonder Man and Hercules are brand new. I think if anyone knows me, they know the answer to this. It's Vision. Vision is my favorite hero. He's been my favorite hero for a long time. I don't play him as much as I used to anymore, if I'm being totally honest. The fact that there are so many heroes now contributes to that. But every time I play him, it's still a great time. I still will argue until the cows come home that he is one of the strongest heroes in the game, that he has everything you need. He's so versatile. and I just have a ton of fun working out whatever I need. It's got lots of like tactical decision making, turn to turn, what cards to play. He's got piercing, he's got stunning, he's got confusing, he can discard attachments. He's got all of it. But yeah, he's my favorite. Super fun. Are there any Vision fans here? Please tell me one of you likes Vision.
I think so. If you've listened to our podcast, you know that we all started around Age of Apocalypse. Mm-hmm. So as far as like actually getting to sit down and play all the heroes well, it's been kind of hard. But when I played Vision, I did enjoy playing him. I had several people that I played the game with for a while, and the main guy who had got me into it, not Jason, but one of my other friends, he was always like, Vision's terrible. Like, he's just so slow, so clunky. Like, it's just really hard to play him. I played him one or two times, and I enjoyed him. He was fun. I like the decisions that you have to make.
He is on my playlist for this year. So I bought his pack at the end of it last fall, and I picked him up, took his cards out, and haven't had a chance to play with him yet. So he's on my list. I was going to look up. Well, I guess which deck do you recommend the most from the ones you've built to try out for the first time Vision?
I mean,
you don't have.
What's that?
I was just saying, if you don't have your MCDC pulled up, or not MCDC, Marvel CDB pulled up, that's totally fine too.
Yeah, I don't have Marvel CDB pulled up. I think he has a lot of hooks that are really good, and I think he works in every aspect. I think he has awesome leadership decks. He has a lot of resources, so he's like pretty rich. He can do a lot of stuff. He's an Avenger. Personally, I think I like him best in protection. I like to lean into his intangible form where you take less damage. I think that's a ton of fun. That's one of the things that makes him the most unique in the game. And so leaning into that and thwarting a ton is fun. You can go heavy thwart for a whole table. If you play him in Justice, he can easily thwart for a 3 or 4 player game. He has a ton of thwart baked into his kit just on his own. But the classic aggression, like collect minions and play Bring It to draw a ton of cards, is awesome as well. I think Brant was the first one that published a deck like that, and I've got a variant of that published on my Marvel CDB. But you collect minions in front of you. As long as they don't attack for more than 2, you can just let them sit there while you're intangible and ignore them. And then if you play Bring It, you can draw a ton of cards. My record is drawing 20 cards with 1 Bring It.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So you just collect them, you play. You can get some help from Ultron, so I was trying to game it that time. So you play Face the Past to get his nemesis into play, and then he attacks and puts your cards down as drones, along with other minions, and then you just slap Bring It, you draw 20 cards, and then you just do whatever you want. That's always fun too. It's a novelty to like draw that many cards at a time. And it used to be, fun fact, way back when the game started, like drawing your whole hand into your whole deck into your hand used to be a loss condition, but they errated that pretty early on, so you can do it now without losing.
Oh wow, I'm glad that did get changed, because the amount of times I cycle through a deck is wild.
No, it's only if you have your whole deck in your hand that was lost condition.
Oh,
like, you can cycle your deck, but if you had all of your cards and there were no cards left, you would lose. But that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, but if you can hold all 40 cards in your hand, 40 plus cards, that's impressive too.
Yeah. I mean, it can help. It can happen through many ways, right? If you play the Ultron scenario from the core set, you could have a bunch of them as drones, for example. There's cards that take your stuff away. There's like side schemes that'll take 8 cards and tuck them or something. There's like different ways your cards can go different places. You don't have to all have them all in your hand, but yeah, it's
Ultron,
still hard.
tolerance.
So have you ever done that?
I haven't. No, Brant has.
Interesting.
He and I have talked about it a lot.
Deck.
Yeah,
awesome.
if you look me up at Marvel CDB, I have one of them. But if you look Vision or Red, there's a lot of variants on that, different cards.
So to answer your question, I have not played Vision. I've wanted to.
What's stopping you?
I've wanted to. The world may never know.
So speaking of Vision, have you had a chance to play the Synthezoid Takedown yet?
I have, yes. Have you guys played it?
I have been trying to take on Vision with Tigra and have been failing miserably. So actually this last time I got him down to 7 health on his second side, but he's rough.
Yeah. Are you primarily playing True Solo?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's tricky, but I really like the way his form flips like at the start of the player or the villain phase after the first step.
Yeah. I hate the that first scheme that he comes with, that you have to discard the top 3 cards of your deck every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want that scheme to pop, but also you want it to pop because you don't want it.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think the leaders are really fun. The Civil War stuff. I was a little cold on them at first. I've warmed up to them with repeated plays. I think She-Hulk's really great too, actually.
Yeah. She's not quite as hard, I don't think.
She's a little bit different. She's punches hard, so with the wrong hero.
Pa-pa.
But we did 3-player with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 6 of them, the leaders that we have, there's 3 of them that are like more damage heavy and 3 of them that are a little more control. So I think of the pair that came into Inside SmackDown, Vision is the control-y one, just like Iron Man, that's going to kind of make you thread out, and She-Hulk is the one that just slaps you. But I love the mechanic of when you flip, she deals damage to you. Like the take on her hero abilities is cool.
Yeah.
What else you got? You got more questions. I know you do.
Absolutely. What's your favorite villain?
My
Or
favorite
scenario, I guess.
villain scenario. That one rotates quite a bit. I would say, depending on
Vision.
my mood, Vision's up there. I think he's pretty fun. I don't know if he's in my favorites. I think lately I've been having a ton of fun playing On the Run, which is one I think doesn't get a ton of love. It's from the Next Evolution, I think.
Mhm.
That one is a ton of fun. I like the variability of the villains. I also really like some of the old classics. I've been playing a ton of Rise of the Red Skull recently. Again, going back through that campaign. I think Red Skull is like a top 10 for me. I love that scenario. I think Zola is really, really good. Crossbones is still really fun and can be tricky with different mod sets. Taskmaster is good. Like, I think that whole box is still one of the best boxes. But yeah, I'll say Red Skull and On the Run as 2 I really enjoy.
Man, it's been a while since I've played Red Skull. I need to go back and visit him. We started the game like 2 or 3 years ago, and so that was one of the first scenario boxes. We went through the whole campaign together. Well, at least Levi and I did. And so I think we beat Red Skull and we felt empowered, and then we've jumped on to the next boxes after that. So I need to go back and revisit him.
He's really fun. Like, you can mix in mod sets that have different side schemes with that deck that he creates. And I think it's interesting. There's a mod set, I forget what it's called, that comes in the Hood scenario pack that has like a ton of side schemes. That's a fun one to mix in there. Emergency something, I forget exactly.
I would love to get one of those that has more of those side schemes that give you some benefits when you defeat them. Because a lot of the side schemes that you get when you're doing the standard build for Vision, like they're all negative. It's like when defeated, get rid of this or do that, or you're confused. But I like the side schemes that are like draw an upgrade, whatever.
I think there's some from Sinister Motives that do that, or is that just that's Down to Earth, right? So that's in a mod pack. Have a few in there.
Down to Earth. I think it's State of Emergency is the one I'm thinking of from the Hood pack that has like it's 7 cards, and they're all but one are side schemes, I think. Because he just pulls at the setup, you take all side schemes out of the encounter deck and shuffle into his little side scheme deck, and so mixing tough ones in there makes it really fun.
That's one of the best parts about the game. And I know we don't dive into that too much because we focus more on the allies, but I love having the mod sets and being able to change up different scenarios because of that.
100%. Yeah.
So State of Emergency, it has 4 side schemes and then 2 environments or 2 treacheries.
Yeah, see.
So
I misspoke. It only has 4, but still it's fun.
It's still more than most, so.
Yeah.
That's 2/3 of the whole thing.
Better than tossing like 0 tolerance on him and then having to deal with losing things at the same time. So
yeah. I like to experiment. You can mix in like Nemesis sets too as mod sets. That's kind of fun sometimes. I don't know if that's officially sanctioned by the rules, but just take out mod sets from different heroes you're not using and add them as mod sets in a game.
I know it's being promoted for a long time, or folks were talking about it because Shadow of the Past didn't kick off as often as it used to. Now with Standard 3, it's a little easier to get your Nemesis sets out. But
yeah,
I hate getting my Nemesis set, so I always play Standard 1.
Some of them are worse than others. I don't know. It depends on what hero you're playing. But yeah, the first time I played Vision, I think I mixed in the Ultron Nemesis set from Vision the Hero as one of the mod sets just to like add more robots, which is fun.
So have you been in the game since the beginning, or did you jump in later on?
No, I got into the core set. I've been in since the very beginning. I should say I bought the core set when the first hero pack released, which was Captain America. And that's when I bought into the core set and have played it ever since with no breaks. So I've been in since late 2019, early 2020.
Wow.
Man.
It's been a
I'm
minute.
jealous. I wish I had discovered it that early.
Yeah, I've just lucked out.
Man, if I discovered it that early, I would have no money.
Yeah, I have everything. I'm happy to have everything. Like but it's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I have everything also, but I would have had no money building it up.
Fair. The only thing I don't have is the Valkyrie and Spectrum German promo cards that came out in like 2021 that are impossible to find.
Oh. Well, yeah, I don't have those. I have one alt art card, and it's the Cyclops alt art card. But that's the only fancy thing that I have.
It's more reason to go to MCDC.
Yes, more alt art stuff. Yeah, no, I'm lucky. I've been around long enough. I have all the promos of everything they've released, so it's fun.
So did you do the game store items where they would like get together at the game store and they gave out promos and then they get games there?
The OP kits.
Yeah, the
Hawkins.
organized play stuff. It used to be a thing. I think organized play is dead, I'm sad to say. But it was cool. They used to do it. I wish they would do more. They had a whole bunch of stuff early in the game's lifespan. Like I have a Green Goblin playmat, and there was a bunch of promo cards from the first wave, the Green Goblin pack, the core set. They did a bunch of stuff, and then like COVID came, and then they made like a brief resurgence with OP and the mutant stuff. Like I think there's maybe all three mutant. No, just the first two mutant waves. I think. I don't think the third one has it because there's no Iceman, Magneto, that kind of stuff. But Mutant Genesis and Next Evolution, they had alt art heroes, right? They had full art and then alt art for each of them. So
That is awesome. I know that. Yeah, we jumped in at Age of Apocalypse and I started seeing them because I was like, oh, the Gambit and Rogue ones look super awesome in their wedding clothes. And then I was like, sweet, well, maybe I can find a place. And then nobody had them around this area. And then on top of that, it looks like they had stopped at that point as well. So it was unfortunate to see.
Yeah, and then they were hard to find. I feel like people were scalping them pretty quickly.
I think I see them on eBay every once in a while. You can spend $1,000 if you want to get one. And I'm like, I don't think that's worth
Wild.
time.
It's
My,
wild.
My friend was really fortunate. He found somebody selling one of the Mutant Genesis OP kits on Facebook Marketplace. I think he bought it for like $100 or, something like that. Wow. And then because you get like 2 full copies of everything, he gave me the Cyclops and one of our other buddies, the Colossus. And then he sold the like a whole set on like eBay or something like that. And he made back the money that he paid for it plus like another $150 or something like that. It's ridiculous.
Dang. That's crazy. I mean, when Mutant Genesis and Next Evolution came out, I mean, I had a regular game group where I used to live, and they just like gave us boxes of that stuff. I just gave it out to whoever wanted it. I don't really like the scalping or selling stuff, so I just gave it to anybody who showed up, got packs, and I would give it away at conventions when I went. At MCDC, I gave away the last of what I had. I had 2 full sets of the Next Evolution stuff left over, so the full art and alt art of every hero, and I just put them on the prize table, and people scooped them up, so hopefully they didn't just scalp them. And I'm watching you, people. Hopefully you play them at home.
And utilize them well. Yeah.
Don't be scalpers.
Boomguy's eyes are everywhere.
I'm everywhere. Trust me. I'm watching you. I'm like Santa Claus.
That's why you're coming on the different podcasts and stuff. It's not because you actually want to chat with us, because you're watching us all.
I'm just keeping tabs on everybody. You know how it is.
I didn't scalp anything. What are you talking about?
We got the FFG police and then
I am the FFG police.
I knew it.
It's me.
You're with the... That's it.
Chief Inspector Boomguy.
Yeah, you better watch out. So, yeah. What else you got?
We're Sidekicked allies, so we focus a lot on the ally... I guess a Sidekick podcast, we focus a lot on the allies. Is there a sidekick or ally you like most in the game?
Lately, I have been really into playing a lot of Black Panther. So I would say T'Challa is one that I play a ton. Love T'Challa. Also, Deadpool is one of my favorite heroes to play. So big Cable fan. Of course, I can't go without mentioning Vivian. I mean, come on.
Makes sense.
What about that Wolverine?
Wolverine for Jubilee. I find him a little awkward. I'm a big Jubilee fan. I don't play Wolverine as much as I would like. He doesn't ever seem to really fit with what she's doing, and so I end up tossing him to play an event usually.
That's fair. I mean, he's pretty expensive, so.
Yeah. He doesn't like synergize with her kit. I guess he gives her some piercing if she needs it, but I don't know.
He feels like an ally. If you get him out right at the beginning of the game, it can benefit you if you keep flipping back and forth. Other than that,
What's that? I know that they have a team up. Do you remember? What's their team up card?
Unlikely duo.
Like, what does that do?
What does it do? I have no idea.
It confuses an enemy and deals 4 damage to that enemy.
Oh.
Or to a confused enemy, I don't remember. But it confuses and deals 4 damage.
Which can be good, but if you're doing it to a minion, that's likely going to just defeat them, so there's no point in confusing them.
But her sunglasses can then trigger more damage. Anyway, go ahead. Enough about Jubilee.
that's true. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get to talk more about her here soon. Aspect, though. Is there an aspect you prefer or a sub-aspect you prefer? Like, if you play protection, do you prefer perfect protection or...
I used to be a big protection guy. I've never been really big into justice. I've never been huge into leadership. But lately, the last year and a half, I have become aggression. Most of my decks I build are aggression. Most of what I play is aggression. I think part of that stems from playing higher player counts primarily. I dabble in solo, but honestly, increasingly I play less and less solo games anymore. I'm almost always multiplayer, so you need damage in multiplayer games. I was just playing today before we started recording. I played a 4-player mansion attack, and man, that scenario can grind. And we did not have enough damage. And what happened? We sat there for a long time, spinning our wheels, trying to do enough damage. And so when you go to conventions, you just need more damage. A lot of people, I think the game has a lot of solo, especially online. The community is very solo focused. And just the straight up numbers in solo of what a villain's health is, it is just such a different game when we're playing Mansion Attack and we flipped to the third one you have to kill, and it has 19 per player, which is 76 health. That's so much health. And if you're not doing consistent damage and big chunks of damage, you are just going to sit there all day. So I tell people all the time, if you don't play a lot of multiplayer, you just need more damage than you think. At a 4-player game at the convention, when Thanos slips for 100 health, oh my gosh, 100 health is so much to chew through. And then that doesn't take into effect, guard minions or stunning you or exhausting you. All those things slow you down. So you just need to be able to do big, solid, consistent chunks of damage. So, and I just like it. Recently, I've been playing more tempo decks, been playing a little faster, not as much setup, trying to get through stuff. So definitely aggression is my number one these days.
Let's see it, Levi. Go ahead and say it, buddy.
Aggression's the best.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm a protection guy.
That's what got me into the game was aggression.
Yeah,
because you were angry all the time.
Hey, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Or maybe we'd like you better. I don't know.
Yeah, when you're hungry.
Protection is still my second favorite for sure. Although Pool would probably be my second favorite if they released more of it. But it's slipping because there's just not enough of it.
There's just not that much.
Well, what Marvel media brought you to the game?
What Marvel media? Well, when the game launched in 2019, Marvel was everywhere. I know that feels like a long time ago these days, but that was Endgame. And Marvel was the only thing anybody was watching, the only thing that was everywhere. So, of course, the MCU is incredible. I watched all of it. I still watch it all. I still rewatch a lot of those movies. So I'd have to say definitely MCU. I was never a big comic reader, still not reading a ton of them. I've tried to push myself to read some of it the last couple of years because, having some lore, some background knowledge, especially as I do some content, is nice and I enjoy it to a degree. But yeah, MCU was 100% all anybody was talking about in 2019, 2020.
Okay, that's fair.
Makes perfect sense. I grew up reading comics, and so that's what attracted me once I realized what it was. And then hearing Caleb Grace talk about his connection to comics and building the game made me excited about it. And so I can kind of see a lot of that flavor, especially in the stuff that he makes or made for the game.
Yeah, Caleb's a big comics fan. I've been fortunate enough to meet and hang out with Caleb and play games, talk to him a bunch over the years, and he's a big X-Men guy. I think that shows through in the game if you look at just the pure amount of stuff that they made for the X-Men. It was a labor of love for sure. But yeah, Caleb's awesome, big comic reader, which is great. I think that's a resource and a strength of the game for sure.
I'm hoping it continues, but I know that haven't heard Tony talk either way about it, so but we'll find out.
Tony. I think Tony does his research. I don't know if he's as ingrained in comics as Caleb was for so long, but he definitely, researches stuff and is very meticulous.
Well, if his Next Evolution was his big start, so if anything else is like that, it's going to be an awesome continuation of the game. So
yeah, Tony's great. I think the game's in good hands for sure.
All right. What is your favorite part of Marvel Champions?
My favorite part? What do you mean by favorite part?
I mean, what keeps drawing you back to playing the game? You said you started at the beginning and you haven't stopped since then. Why keep coming back to Marvel Champions?
I think for me, it's two big things. Like if we're talking about game specific, I like the deck building. I think the deck building in this game hits that perfect mix of complicated and complex and interesting without being overbearing or overwhelming. And I think my experience with deck building in this game is informed in part because I joined at the beginning, and so I've grown with the game and have grown up with the card pool as it's expanded. I think getting in today, it could be overwhelming if someone handed me 2,000 cards and was like, here you go, have fun. That could be overwhelming, sure. But me having gone from the very beginning, back when we played cards like Invulnerability and Mockingbird, to where we are today, I think it's fun. It's not too complex, but it's deep enough to be interesting. Outside of like actual specific game stuff, the biggest thing that keeps me coming back is the community here. Like that sounds super cheesy, but I've been to every convention for this game so far. I've met a ton of people. I've made like real, actual IRL friends, which, for nerds like us who are largely basement dwellers, present, I'm part of that. It's awesome. I just continually am amazed by the people who show up in Discord, strangers I've never met before, and how friendly and kind and welcoming they are, and people who write into the show or listen to our show, or people that I meet at conventions. Like, everyone is awesome. I have met very, very, very few people that don't fit that. I think this is a really great community, really positive.
That is, I think the best aspect is the community for sure. The fear you get, especially being, like you said, a basement nerd of, I'm going to go talk to all these people about this game. And then you go in and they're like, oh, everybody's welcoming. They want you to be a part of it. They invite you to do all these things. I think that is the coolest part about Marvel Champions that I've experienced out of any other game I've played.
Yeah, I think part of that stems from being a cooperative game, right? We're all in this together. I'm not here to like smoke you with my fancy deck. So that's like baked into the whole game. But, people have anxiety. Social anxiety is real. Like being nervous in big crowds is real. And I think every year leading up to the convention, as I've become a content creator, the biggest question everybody asks me about Con of Heroes and MCDC is like, what if I don't know anybody, right? What if I show up and I got my decks and I don't, it's like the lunchroom in freshman year of high school. Like, I don't know where to sit. I don't know anybody. These people know each other. I've been in the community for 6-7 years now. So I have a lot of friends. I show up at the convention. It's like a family reunion. I know everybody, and I, getting together with people I've seen years and years and years. So the biggest thing I tell people is don't be nervous. Everyone is super friendly. Come to the con and enjoy yourself. And if you don't know anybody, if you were showing up and you don't know a single person, if you watch a single one of my videos, you know what I look like. If you've heard my voice, you know what I sound like. And if you just come up and sit next to me, I'll play a game with you. And last year at Con of Heroes, I track how many games I play every time. I played 40 games in 3 days, which is an absolutely insane amount of 3 and 4 player games to play.
Wow.
I literally don't think I could have played anymore. All day, we barely take breaks, but it's awesome and I love it. And it's nice to see people who come in. It's their first con. If you don't know anybody, if you just yell my name at the convention hall, I will wave my hand at you and you can come play a game with me. And at least you know one person, but very quickly you would know more people.
That is awesome. I would say the same thing. If we get to go this year, definitely come find us. We would love to play with you guys as well. We love meeting new people. And as you know, Levi and I are both talkers, so we'll be able to talk your ear off while we're playing the game. So,
and I'll just stare at you.
We'll make it as uncomfortable as possible, but you can play with me.
Oh, I didn't say you could play with me.
Sadly, I will be wearing clothes.
Unfortunately, we need to in public.
We do appreciate that you're here tonight so that Levi is dressed. So
yeah, there's a dress code.
Well, sweet. Do you have any questions for us before we move forward?
No, I mean, I think I know you guys from listening to the show. I think people who are listening to this know you guys already, So nothing else. If I think of it, I think when the quick strike questions happen, I may have some to ask back, depending on what your questions are. But let's roll that and see how it goes first.
We will let you know if you answer wrong.
Good. I expect that.
So, Jason, are we doing this? We each read a question, or are you going to read them all?
No, we'll each read a question. And so it is a this or that. So an example could be Colossus or Shadowcat. And you just answer whichever one comes off the top of your head. You would choose the player or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
There is a good chunk that are Marvel Champions related. And then it looks like the guys have added in a few others as well. So
Okay.
just be ready for that. All right.
Who's starting?
I say
I'll
we'll start
start.
with our Twister.
I'll-
Or start with Levi and go with Twister and me.
I'll start.
Perfect.
Okay, are you ready?
I've never been more ready for this than I am right now.
Vision or Iceman?
Vision.
Jubilee or Vision?
Vision.
Be Vision for a day or have any other superpower.
Have any other superpower? Do I get to choose any other, or is it just a random superpower?
You get to choose.
Okay, then I want to choose any other superpower. If you're going to give me like Jubilee's fireworks from my fingers or something, I don't want that. That's lame. But if I could pick it, yes.
Pew, pew, pew.
Makes sense.
Lord Sparklefingers. Flavor text or flavorful food?
Oh, flavor text, for sure. I could eat chicken and rice every day.
Chicken and rice. There you go. Avengers or X-Men?
Avengers.
Movies or television?
Movies. Easy.
Levi, it's you.
Oh, is it my turn? X-Men or Guardians?
Guardians.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Champions or Guardians?
Guardians.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Oh, turtles. All day. 10 times out of 10. What are Power Rangers? Get out of here.
TMNT.
Put
Who's
those
that?
stupid spandex suits away. Get out of here. Turtles.
Speaking of spandex, X-Men or Champions?
Ooh. X-Men.
Superman or Batman?
Superman.
City or country?
City.
Guardians or Avengers?
Avengers.
You had to think on that one for a second.
I did.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Ooh. Trek.
Interesting.
Star Trek.
Falcon or Hulk?
Bruh. Hulk.
Ooh.
Xena or Hercules?
Herc.
Aggression or protection?
Aggression. All day.
Oh, it hurts so much.
I
That was
gotta
a
be honest.
right answer.
That's
Right
it.
answer. Hot dogs or hamburgers?
Well, they are both sandwiches, but I will say hamburger.
Okay.
I'm going to have to follow
Leadership
up on that in a second.
or justice?
Bruh. This is like Hulk and Falcon all over again. I'll say leadership.
Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox. Can't play Halo in the 90s on your PlayStation, so. Or early 2000s, I guess.
point.
Early mornings or late nights?
Oh, mornings. I'm a morning guy. I'm up early every day, for sure.
Audio or visual?
Audio. All day, every day. Audio podcasts are the place to be. You guys got it right.
A
Editing or recording?
Recording. Editing's for the birds.
It is. Takes a lot of time.
Planning or recording?
Recording.
editing or planning?
Oh my gosh.
Vision or Hulk?
Editing, I guess. Planning is like, I think I spend more time planning the podcast than anything else, but yeah, editing I'd pick over planning.
That makes perfect sense. Rock and roll or classical?
Classical.
Villains or leaders?
Villains.
Solo or multiplayer?
Multiplayer. Come on. You already knew that. You already knew the answer.
I
You
did.
guys know all these already.
Well, how about solo or versus?
Solo. The PvP's not doing it for me.
Interesting.
Sorry.
Versus or multiplayer?
Multiplayer.
Intangible or dense?
Ooh. Intangible.
Comics or movies?
Movies.
Vivian Hero Kit or Vivian Basic?
Basic.
So I think I might know the answer to this one, but I'm going to wait for you to answer it before I know for sure. Coffee or hot tea?
Coffee. I'm a huge coffee.
Okay, I was totally wrong. I saw you drinking some tea just a minute ago, so.
I was drinking tea before this, but I'm generally, I love coffee. Black, nothing in it, just hot coffee.
My man.
Anytime.
My man.
Super speed or flight?
Super speed.
Invisibility or mind control?
Ooh, okay. We're getting interesting now. I feel like this is a Rorschach test kind of question.
These are questions I came up with.
I would choose invisibility.
Telekinesis or telepathy?
Telekinesis.
And our final question: pizza or spaghetti?
Ooh, pizza. That's just, you can't go wrong with pizza.
That was kind of a soft.
Spaghetti.
Yeah. Well, crunchy tacos or soft tacos? That's really what the real question that I was waiting for.
Soft.
Soft all day, every day.
It depends. Is this from a restaurant or at home?
I didn't get follow-up questions. All I got was pick one. So
I'll do a soft taco.
I'm a crunchy all day.
If I'm going to Taco Bell, give me one of those Doritos Locos taco. If I'm at home, man, those crunchy taco shells are always stale.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Crunchy tacos. I could just smash so many crunchy tacos at once. Not at once, in a row, I should say.
I was like, how are you going to do that?
In succession, yeah, not all at once.
So Falcon, not a huge fan of Falcon.
Oh man, you guys must have heard my various tirades. I'm so disappointed in Falcon. I think part of it stems because I was very, very excited for a Sam Wilson Captain America and was hoping that when they did the, reimaginings that they've talked about with these heroes, the revisits, that we would get a new interpretation, right? We'd get a Sam Wilson Cap. I think Sam Wilson Cap is an interesting character. But, Falcon, okay, and we saw a few things, and I thought, oh, this is going to be cool. But let me tell you, boys and girls, Falcon just ain't it. He's just, that ain't it. I cannot find the fun. I have yet to find the fun, I should say, in Falcon. I can't get there. Spamming Red Wing is not fun, but that feels baked into his kit, and I don't know. I can't do it. I hear people telling me about how they bounced Red Wing 10 times in a turn, and I'm just like, oh, man. I just would rather read a book and go to bed.
Sounds exhausting.
Yeah, I was not interested. Yeah, thanks. But
Jason has made a couple of excellent Falcon decks that do not involve you bouncing Red Wing. So check those out. And and they're great. I couldn't get them to work for me, but
They're okay.
It's focusing on that upgrade, the Captain America upgrade for leadership, and then you're still bouncing a character in, but you're using Slingshot to come in, and then you're using the Vibranium microweave and Clarity of Purpose to do an extra damage every time you cycle the shields.
I did see that, actually. I did, because I thought that interaction was clever with the Vibranium microweave and the Clarity of Purpose. I remember seeing that on Marvel CDB. That's a clever interaction. I'm supremely disappointed that the Captain America upgrade is in leadership. That is just, I really wanted it in basic, and I thought just that change alone might have saved him because, you could play him in other aspects, but like leadership isn't super interesting anyway. I don't know. Yeah, Falcon's not working for me. I think he might be the very bottom for me.
they specifically limited it to Winter Soldier and Falcon. Mm-hmm. And so if they were going to limit it, they might as well have put it in basic.
Yeah, because one aspect for two characters, like that's just such a limiting, I don't know. And it's an aspect I don't think is great for them. I don't know. It's, for me, he doesn't work. I know some people enjoy it. I think he might be the very bottom for me. I'm just like not interested. But maybe I'll come around. I built a deck with Bishop. I came around on him a little bit. At least I found some fun in a deck. I have been playing a bunch of Valkyrie lately. I found the fun there, so maybe I'll get there. Who knows?
Well, and your turnaround on Iceman was a wild ride too. So
yeah, like I think I've proven I'm willing to change my mind. I'm willing to be open-minded about it. New cards come out, new decks, new archetypes. I'm willing to try again. I'm not going to write someone off, but Falcon's got an uphill battle now.
Yes, he does, and hopefully that'll change over time. He's not an easy one to pilot especially if you're a new player. So
No, not at all.
all right, well, as one of my favorite parts about any podcast is asking that favorite question of what have you guys been playing recently. So we've worn your voice out a little bit. We'll give Levi a chance to talk and Earth Twister, then we'll cycle back around. So
Love it.
I am on this podcast.
Who are you?
You are.
I ask myself that question all the time. Like, who am I? And what have I been playing recently? So I have been playing a game. I think it's called Horse Chicken.
Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Ultimate Chicken Horse. That's what it's called. Ultimate Chicken Horse. I've not been playing Marvel Champions recently. I've been playing Ultimate Chicken Horse recently. I can't even describe the game. It's a very fun game.
It is a platformer on PlayStation and Xbox, but you play with your friends, and as you guys do your different platforming, you add different traps in between to try to race each other to the end. So you're trying to kill each other off before you make it to the end.
But also making it possible for you to make it to the end.
Yes. So, and then each of you is a different animal. So you can be a squirrel, a horse, raccoon,
Turtle.
Can you be a chicken?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
the first
And a
two
horse.
characters are horses and chicken. So it's a unique game, but it's a lot of fun.
I'm not a video game guy really, so I can't speak to it too much. I used to be, but I haven't played really in years.
That's right. It's something I discovered before COVID, and it's just one of those nice things that you could play over the internet during the time. So,
And Jason
for sure.
introduced me to it.
well, sweet. Well, unfortunately, it's not been Marvel Champions, but getting Ultimate Chicken Horse in is always exciting. What about you, Earth Twister? What you got going on?
I have been getting my butt handed to me by Vision. For whatever reason, I can't take him. I've been playing Tigra. I've been trying to go through all of her aspects, and I've been playing her in current. So that may be part of the problem, because I've limited myself to current. Every time I play a new hero, I'm trying to go through all the aspects in the current environment before I play them in anything else, and it's not been a good time. I do enjoy that first part of the player round when you have like 3 minions and you just get to draw 3 cards for fun. But I don't love when you flip that gang up and you go from full health to 0 health like that. And it's not fun. But I played in leadership, and Slingshot was a lot of fun to use. And I actually enjoyed using the cards that came with Magneto. I think it's like Noble Sacrifice, squared off, and then You Got This. I didn't think I would like a lot of those cards, but then as I actually played them, like the You Got This, I realized that I got another ready out of it. I didn't realize that you get the ready with it. So that was kind of nice, because you use your ally, then you discard your ally, and then you just get ready as if you hadn't gone already. So it's nice.
Combo that with Make the Call on Moon Knight, and you're set for Tigra.
Yeah, see, I didn't have Make the Call on the deck, so maybe that was my problem.
Yeah, of course, that's available in current environment. So, have you been playing any current environment, Boomguy, or have you kind of stayed mostly with Legacy? Or
I gotta be honest, I am ignoring the environments and treating them as if they don't exist. I know that there are content creators who are leaning into this current environment thing, and more power to you. For me, I don't necessarily need that. I know that limitation can kind of enhance creativity sometimes, and sometimes when you put some boundaries on things, you do find new ways to enjoy things or cards you didn't think of. But I don't really have issues with that. For me, I'm constantly building decks with weird cards that nobody likes. I have a podcast dedicated to talking about a bunch of weird cards that a lot of people don't really like. So that's not an issue for me. But yeah, no, the environments aren't really something I've dove into. And I don't really plan on it until I feel like FFG gives me more of an incentive or a reason to care about ignoring half of the cards that I've already purchased from them.
that makes perfect sense. I was in the same boat until Solo Marvel Champion brought me into it. So I attribute him to convincing me to give it a shot for challenging myself in deck building. So
Yeah.
it is his fault.
No, I think that's cool. I've seen
Yeah.
you guys are doing this tournament or this like round robin thing of the current environment, and you drafted. I think it's a super interesting idea. I'm curious to see how it goes because that is something I could see having value to the community and even to me potentially. You get in a draft and you're drafting hero packs. That's an interesting idea and something I'll be curious to see if that catches on. I'm curious to see how Marvel CDB adapts to environments and how that looks going forward. I'm curious to see how the content creation community will divide, if people will totally ignore it and everyone stays legacy, if certain content creators are kind of make their names or their channels on a current environment or a limited environment. So that, I think my prediction when this all started was that there will be content creators who will go hard into environments, and I think that's a niche that they can find value in. New players will only have current environment available to them, and I think if you are the kind of channel or content that caters to newer or more casual players, I think leaning into those environments is really smart if you want to grow your channel.
Absolutely. It's been a wild ride, for sure, with the OADT limited environment draft tournament, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going to go next, too. We'll be finishing that up. We're recording here in February, but that should be done here by the end of the month, and then we're releasing the rules, I think, after that, and the changes that we made as we played and discovered this is working or this is not working, or we didn't consider side schemes that come with player side schemes or different options like that as well. And so like part of the rules being if you leave a side scheme out, you lose a point. Well, if I leave a player side scheme out, do I lose points for that as well? And then you got to consider Jubilee and Silk that come with side schemes that you kind of need to cycle in a couple of times. So, but we're excited to see how that all turns out. So,
yeah, interesting. I'm excited to see the results.
But anything else? Just Tiger right now, Mr. Twister, or
as far as Marvel Champions is concerned, yeah, I did a few videos on Hulkling and I really enjoyed him. He was a lot of fun. And then my wife and I have been playing what's that game? Split Fiction. That's been a lot of fun.
Split Fiction is awesome. Highly recommend it if you are looking for a game to play with your partner that is a video game. A lot of puzzle solving, but it's got a cool, unique story to it, and it requires having to help each other to get through the game. So it's based off two writers that are trapped in a video game together, but they're living through each other's books. And so one is a sci-fi writer and one's a fantasy writer. And so you're having to survive to the end of the game to get out to break the machine because they find out the machine's stealing their stories. So
interesting.
It's a very,
I never heard of it.
Very fun concept.
They also have side stories, and one of them is very interesting, put it that way. And when we were talking about superpowers, I almost thought about asking you if you'd rather stretch like a slinky or fart rainbows and be able to fly. Because that's what you get to do in the game.
Fart rainbows.
Choices.
Fart rainbows.
I think the rainbows is the easy choice there, but yeah, it's an interesting decision.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, sweet. Well, Boomguy, what have you been playing recently?
Well, a lot of Marvel Champions. I have been playing a couple different things. In terms of heroes, I decided in 2026 to commit myself to logging all of my games with the Marvel Champions tracker. I don't know if you guys use this website. So I've been playing that, and it's been interesting tracking kind of what I'm playing. I don't think about what I play. I just play whatever I feel like, and then I log it and kind of see where the data lands. So far, my most played hero, and the one I've been playing a lot, is Spectrum in 2026. I've been playing a ton of Spectrum. I'm a big Spectrum fan. I have been for a long time. I think her weaknesses are overblown. I think she's super versatile and super strong. So I've been playing her in a bunch of different aspects and enjoying that a lot. And then I do want to mention I've been play testing. I created some custom leaders. So in the mold of the Civil War leaders, I designed 2 of them. There's a number of people who are designing these recently. It feels like that's the new thing in 2026. But for the Con of Heroes, I designed 2 of these leaders so that I will release the designs when they're done being playtested and everything. And at the time of this podcast, they're probably already available. And I'm encouraging people to bring them to Marvel or to the Con of Heroes so that we can play them all together and play them in PvP or PvE. So I have a Quicksilver leader that I built and then a Valkyrie leader. And I think these are pretty easy to make because FFG has created a template really of, they follow a very, very kind of narrow template in terms of how they translate heroes to leaders. And so you can follow that, and there's still some room for creativity to create interesting mechanics or adapt hero mechanics as villains. And so I have these two. Quicksilver for sure is already released, and Valkyrie will surely be released by the time this is out. If not, I just outed what's coming next. And then I'll give away the print files so people can kind of drop them into Print and Play Games, which is a website most people use for printing cards. And you can order a set of each for yourself, whether you come to the con or not. But there's a couple of people who are doing other ones as well. So there's going to be a bunch of custom leaders at the con this year. So that's what I've been playtesting a ton the last few months.
That is awesome. Secret drops here. That's super exciting. I did look earlier. We're coming out on April 2nd. So
they will be out by then. Yeah.
That is awesome. Quicksilver, I'm excited for that. I'm seeing how he readies, and that mechanic should be super awesome.
Yeah, so. Quicksilver's great. If you're over, again, I'm a shameless plug constantly, but if you're in the new server that I created, there's a whole channel and threads of all these custom leaders people are making. So there's a thread in there for Quicksilver that has all the files. You can go look at them. But if, he activates multiple times, and his mechanic is just that whenever he activates a second time, but, he doesn't get boost cards every time. So there's different ways his cards are giving him face down boost cards, but generally he will only activate without them. But multiple times, so you're just trying to battle him and make sure he doesn't get too many face-down boost cards. Yeah, it's a fun mechanic. It plays really interestingly. I've had a ton of people play testing and helping me play test, tweak these over the last few months. He's a ton of fun.
I can't wait to try him out then. That's awesome.
Yeah, I hope you do. And you'll be able to, like I said, I have the print file set up, so if you don't know how to print stuff from Print and Play Games, you'll be able to take the files I give you and literally just drop them in and click order. And order a set, and they'll come cut and printed to your house. They look indistinguishable from cards you get from FFG. I've printed a bunch of other stuff. That's where we print our MCDC stuff too. They look and feel great, so it'll be just like another leader you have to play.
That is awesome. It opens up new doors for new things you could try out too. So
yeah, 100%. Custom content is booming, so it's great.
Very cool. Well, I'm in the middle of the LEDT right now. For my activities and stuff. And so I think the last two decks I played was an Ant-Man protection build and a Jubilee for the first time, actually. So got to test her out and faced Captain America. I've been tracking as well, so I think it's the same one that they talk about in Stunned and Confused, the tracker. Mm-hmm. And I've been using that, and I did like 6 games with Ant-Man and won about 90% of those. And I was like, sweet, I'm ready to go. And then I got ganged up in the first 5 minutes of the actual game that I recorded. And that man died right off the bat, unfortunately. Ooh. So that was a little disappointing to see that it has potential to win, and it just didn't follow through. But then I did jump into Jubilee, and it was a 2-hour-long game against Captain America. And I did end up losing at the end, but it was very close. I was a turn away from winning, so I went ahead and I took the loss, but then finished out to see what would happen the next turn, and I would have taken him down that very next turn. And so... it was a lot of fun.
That's rough.
The steady does kill your momentum with Jubilee on that second flip. So Captain America has no steady at first and then gets steady afterwards. And so, but played her in Justice, so that was exciting. A lot of new cards, and of course it is a limited environment. But then testing things like Followed, I'd never used that before, and to be able to do damage without taking Retaliate was great. So, just testing out a couple new cards that way. That has been the nice thing about the limited environment, is trying out cards I'd never considered before, and now I'm kind of trapped and confined into this one spot to look at those again. And so...
yeah, I think that's super valuable. Like I mentioned earlier, if you didn't grow up with the game and get in early, then I think that's a really great way to experience things. If you got in early, effectively you've been playing the limited environment all along, because that's all you ever had is the core set, and then you had one hero pack at a time kind of drip feeding. So I've played just about every card in the game at some point, because even bad core set cards, that's all we had at one point. And so now you get in and it's like, well, why would I play this bad core set card? Well,
right.
Really, there's no reason to unless you just really want to at this point. So it's good to restrict yourself and make yourself go back to cards that, maybe you hadn't thought of before. Invulnerability and athletic conditioning and all those weird core set cards that people forgot about.
It's wild to see how different it can become when you put yourself in that environment. And I really wish I had grown up with the game as it released, but it's been fun to play a lot of those older cards that I just never thought about before, or cards that just popped up randomly in the different sets. So
Yeah. Yeah, Followed is low-key a cool card, and I wish they had more kind of attachments on side schemes like that. I just recently played a deck using Followed as well. So, yeah, good card.
It was pretty fire, especially when you can do... Oh, man, what is that card? It's got White Tiger on the front, but it's 0 and it pulls out the side schemes.
One way or another.
One way or another, that's right. So you draw out a side scheme, and then you attach Followed to it, and you take that side scheme out in the same turn, and you don't take any retaliate damage because it's not an attack.
Boom.
Oh, man. It was such a fun combo. So
yeah, you can attach it to, as Jubilee, you can attach it to her side scheme and clear it in Alter Ego and deal damage without even flipping to hero. So it's a lot of fun applications.
I should have done that. I didn't even think about it. I don't know why I didn't pull that one out. But
yeah, man.
Maybe next time I take this deck out, I'll give it a shot.
Do it.
It's funny that you brought up those two cards. What is it? Invulnerability and Athletic Conditioning. Because I can picture the art for those cards. I can't tell you what they do at all.
That's because you probably never played them because they're not great.
You're a writer, Twister, though.
Do what?
I was just saying you're right. Jubilee's a lot of fun. I had more fun playing her than I thought I would.
Yeah.
And so
she's great. She's fantastic.
My next plan is to play the basic B deck that you made as well. And so
yeah, that was fun. That's one of the most fun times I had building decks. It's a great time. It's a cool idea that worked out really well.
Well, sweet. We are getting later into the night, so I know a lot of us have work in the morning. Let's keep moving forward.
Yeah.
We don't have any main comments. We'll jump into our mailbag here, so I don't know if you guys want to sing your mailbag song that you guys sing all the time, or we can just jump right into the mailbag.
Go for it.
It's up to you.
Here's
guys.
the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. Something's about time.
I think you just broke Boomguy.
I love this. I need to reboot now.
Well, we haven't gotten any big emails recently, but we did get a lot of comments after our episode 25 and our end of season 1 episode released saying congratulations. And so we do want to thank everyone for watching that episode and for watching us through season 1 or listening to us through season 1. And we do appreciate all of the congratulations and we're excited to continue the cast. So thank you guys for
welcome to season 2.
Welcome to season 2.
Wait,
You're like,
season 2?
Yeah, we're like 3 or 4 episodes into season 2 at this point.
Oh,
but
my
welcome
bad.
on in. So, but if someone did want to send us an email or leave us a comment, how can they do that, Levi?
They can reach us at Sidekicked AMCP. That's Sidekicked, a Marvel Champion podcast at gmail.com.
Sweet. And if
That's not all the mayonnaise can putrefy?
I wish it was.
No.
No? Okay.
No. And if they want to leave a review, how can they do that, Earth Twister? Where can they do that?
Well, they can do it wherever you listen to your podcasts. Spotify, Apple, all the fun places. Just leave that 5-star review. It has to be 5 stars. You can't leave it if it's not 5 stars.
I disagree. You know what? I wish somebody would just give us a 1 star every once in a while. That's what I hope for. I hope for the day that we get 1 star.
No. He doesn't mean that, folks. That's nonsense. Nobody wants a 1-star review, and leaving 1-star reviews is just mean and hurtful. If you listen to season 1 and you enjoyed Sidekicked, you owe it to them and to yourself to take 30 seconds and leave a 5-star review. I know that leaving a 5-star review only takes 30 seconds because I berate my listeners into doing that every single episode. So if you're listening, seriously, I just looked you guys up on Apple Podcasts. You have an amazingly low number of reviews. We need to get people reviewing because I know they're listening. They need to review. You guys are quality content, and this is good stuff. So please, if you're listening, take 30 seconds. Whatever platform you're listening on, leave 5 stars, leave a few nice words, click save, and it means a lot to the show, even though it takes you next to no effort. So please.
Look, I always love nice words too. So if you leave nice words, I'll read them. If you leave angry words, I'll just delete the comment.
Boom.
I'll read them.
Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. That you would encourage folks to leave a 5-star review, and we would love to see that. So thank you.
And
so
while
much.
you're
those
berating them
reviews.
on your podcast to leave a review for your podcast, could you also tell them to leave a review for our podcast while you're on your podcast? That'd be great.
I will.
Well-
So next time I record, I will let them know. Go leave a 5-star review.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we are here now. We've made it to finally who we're talking about today. So Boomguy has brought an awesome ally. Who is our wonderful card for this evening?
So the ally that we have today is maybe not your favorite, but it might be one of my more recent favorites. It's Yellow Jacket. Now, it is important to make the distinction that this is Yellow Jacket, that is 2 words, because Yellow Jacket, that is 1 word, is already in the game, but he is a minion. He's a bad guy. We're not talking about them. We're talking about allies. 2 words, Yellow and Jacket. So that's why I brought along today. Would you all like me to tell you a bit of the backstory?
That would be fantastic. Yes. Who is this guy?
Well, I'm glad you asked. You're holding him up in front of the camera there. He is... Oh, of course, what I didn't do is get the actual card up in front of me. So we'll have to pause for a second and edit this out while Boomguy can read the card. Should I read the card first or do lore first?
We usually jump into the lore first, but okay, I do find it interesting that you're right, the Ant-Man Yellow Jacket is all 1 word as his nemesis set.
See, you thought I made that up. You thought I was ad-libbing, pulling stuff out of the ether, but that is well-researched stuff. I am a professional, sir.
I believe it. My bad.
I did my research. I will not stand. I will not countenance your disrespect. I'm just kidding.
Are you standing right now? It looks
out.
like you're sitting.
You don't know what I'm doing. I'm not even wearing pants.
This is an audio podcast.
You and Levi both, man.
Oh, man.
I never podcast in pants. It's too restricting. So, yeah. So the backstory here. Let's talk about Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket is in the card that we're talking about. He's taken a few forms over the years. But from what I can tell in my extensive research, is this is the Hank Pym version. Hank Pym is known to MCU fans as the old Ant-Man, the old kind of crotchety, gravel-voiced Michael Douglas. And so he created these Pym particles, and he created this whole Ant-Man family. The Ant family has all these different characters, and Yellow Jacket is one of them. Yellow Jacket, as Hank Pym, from what I can tell, is a character who did not exist very long in the comics. There was a time when he was wrestling with like alternate personalities or something. He was having some kind of a nervous breakdown of some kind, and he took the temporary personality of Yellow Jacket, told everyone that he murdered Hank Pym and became a villain. It was his heel turn. If you're familiar with the wrestling term, Hank Pym had a heel turn. And during that time, he kidnapped Janet Van Dyne, who was his, long, flirty person that he didn't marry, and proposed to her because Hank Pym had been too scared to propose to her. But Yellow Jacket did. This new persona, this new confident heel proposed. And I guess Janet Van Dyne said yes for reasons that are not entirely clear to people thinking with their brains. It doesn't make a ton of sense, but she said yes. They got married. They were married at the Avengers Mansion, which we all know as that crucial corset card. Yeah, so eventually Hank Pym stopped being Yellow Jacket. He did come back as Yellow Jacket, had like cameos here and there as a character. It's not clear to me when the villain Yellow Jacket embraced it. I don't know if it came out of that. Only someone who reads a lot of comics would know. Maybe one of you know. Do one of you know?
I am honestly not sure when we got the Scott Lang Nemesis villain, Yellow Jacket. I do know that Hank Pym is notorious for not being very good about locking up his equipment. Because Scott Lang, that is actually very accurate, where he stole the Ant-Man equipment. And though in the movies it was like, I watched you to see if you could do this, Scott Lang just did it because he could. And so I think the same kind of thing happened with Yellow Jacket. I think right around after Scarlet Witch had her mental breakdown at Avengers Mansion and the Avengers broke up. I think part of that was the Avengers Mansion being demolished or destroyed or highly damaged at the time. And people were breaking into the mansion itself. And so they could have taken his suit at that point. Because I think both he and Janet kind of took a break for a while from being superheroes after the event of Avengers Disassembled. And if you're looking for a comic to read, that is one of the best ones when Scarlet Witch loses her mind, going in from there to House of M. So,
I mean, you know this stuff better than I do. I know that the villain Yellow Jacket has taken a few forms. There's the one from the movies. Darren Cross is his name, who has gotten the power of Yellow Jacket and the identity of it. But there's also a new one who is a female Yellow Jacket who's a member of the Masters of Evil. Her name is Rita Demara. So there's multiple versions of the bad Yellow Jacket. Hank Pym has been Yellow Jacket as well at various times. And he seems to adopt a different kind of persona as Yellow Jacket than he did as Ant-Man, which I find kind of interesting. So, I mean, I've always thought ant powers were kind of lame. I hate to say it. And it seems odd that he continually just like, all he ever does is invent size powers. He can invent like anything, but all he does is invent ways to make himself big and small over and over again, and just like different colors of being small.
It's an ego thing, man.
It is the ego thing. Well, and he tried to invent something new. So he invented Ultron, right? Which I think led to his breakdown because of all the dark that Ultron caused, made him have a mental break of, I caused these problems, which led to Yellow Jacket.
It was him and Tony Stark, though, right? It wasn't just Hank.
No, it was a Hank Pym creation.
I think that's the movies that made it a Tony thing.
Yeah. Well, I know the movies made it. The movies made it Tony and Mark Ruffalo, Bruce Banner. Wow. But then I thought it was still Tony but also Hank Pym in the comics. But hey, you learn something new every day.
At some point in the continuity, and it may be even current, I think it's more recent, Hank merged with Ultron at some point and became like half Android Ultron, half Hank Pym. I'm not sure if that's still going on, but there was at least some storyline I discovered where they had merged into one and they were fighting over control of the consciousness or something.
Interesting. That I did
Comics
not know.
are weird, man. Comics are weird.
I know that there was a point when Wolverine traveled back in time to kill Hank Pym for building Ultron, and that created a problem in the future. But
I do have to say, I should have said up front, disclaimer that no comics were read in the research of this podcast.
That is all right.
But Google,
So
thank you.
Yeah. So I know that at one time Deadpool stole some of Pym's his particles, and he shrunk down the Rhino to like about this big, and he stuck him on a keychain, and he just had him on his keys for a while.
He would.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Then he got tired of him, and he flushed him down the toilet.
Rude.
Well, according to the MarvelFandom.com, Ultron was created by Hank Pym, and Hank Pym, Ultron decides that he wants to kill Hank Pym, but then that led to Vision being made, and I think Jocasta as well, which we'll jump into at some point. So that kind of leads that family line of the Pyms themselves. Is he created children and robots? So
He's part of the ant family or whatever, right? He's got a whole thing.
So very cool. Well, thank you for sharing. I think that gives a perfect idea of who at least Yellow Jacket is at the time. So we know a small snippet of Hank Pym, and I know eventually we'll dive into Hank Pym's Ant-Man card eventually too. And I think at that point we can get a little more broad of like, here's a snippet of his life as Yellow Jacket, but now we can dive into what Ant-Man Hank Pym looks like at some time. So what do you think, guys? Any other questions for Boomguy on the Google research we've got, or which is what we do as well.
I promise I will do my best. Yeah, I mean, famously, Boomguy doesn't read comics, so I can't start now. I got a reputation to uphold.
I will say this was much better than your Nightcrawler research you did.
I was beseeched to never do those again. That's why that was a one-time event. I thought that was going to be an ongoing segment, but that was nixed, so we don't do that anymore.
I had a good laugh, so.
Yeah, we had fun doing it. Yeah, but I am super interested to talk about the card because I don't want to spoil my thoughts, but I'm excited to talk about this card.
I do have a question though. If we're still accepting questions.
Sure.
Sustained.
Okay, good. So you said, and I just want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly, Hank Pym went crazy, had multiple personalities. One of his personalities became Yellow Jacket and went evil. And then while he was evil, he proposed to his whatever you want to call her. And then while he was still evil, this Avenger said, "Yes, I'll marry you, villain," and then he became good? Or like, how did that happen?
Yeah, it sounds like
Is there-
you followed along perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened. It is an odd sequence of events. Apparently, Wasp knew that was actually Hank, even though Hank didn't know that, maybe. And so she said yes, hoping to like get the original Hank back through some means. It's not entirely clear. Like, this line of thinking does seem a bit odd to me, and I'm not sure why she went there, but she did. It's what happened. It's lore.
Okay.
It's canon.
Is it a canon event?
Yeah.
Do we need to play the
Legends.
Spider-Man 2099 theme music?
Wait, that's good music.
I mean, I think we leave it open to our listeners, right? If you guys know the answers to these questions, don't be afraid to leave them in the comment section down below, or comment on Spotify, or in your 5-star review. So,
Or send an email, sidekickedamcp@gmail.com.
look, Boom Guy's already got it. We've got 6 emails from him already. They're all cat videos, but
Boom.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. Anytime somebody emails us, I send them spam back. So
Is that why they stopped emailing us?
probably.
It looks like on the sheet it is my job to describe the card, so we will jump into the description of the card and move on from there. So, Yellow Jacket, as we established, is 2 words. Hank Pym, unique ally, a basic card, and costs 3. He is a 2 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 health point ally. Both his thwart and attack do take 2 consequential damage. He's an Avenger, and it requires an Avenger to play it. His response is, after Yellow Jacket enters play, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an upgrade and add it to your hand with the flavor text of, I know what I have to do. He is an energy resource, and I think that is the big key things there. Anything else? It comes in the Civil War pack, and it is a current environment card for 1.7.
So far for our listeners, we've got a gray card with stats, but we don't have any art. Are we still going to talk about that?
Yeah, would you mind doing the art for us?
Oh,
Since you're
darn it.
excited about it?
It looks like we have a dude in the Yellow Jacket costume. I'm assuming this is Hank Pym. He's got the wide shoulder things that are black, and then the rest of him is pretty much yellow. He's got the black underwear and gloves, of course, as well, with the mask. And he's sitting on, it looks like a tank or a wall. It's really hard to tell. And it looks like he may have just crashed it. So, would you say that's accurate?
A giant form of some sort, maybe?
Yeah.
I want to say it's a helicarrier, but you're right. It could also be a tank.
I mean, he also could have changed size. It could be like a pebble, I guess. We don't know, right? Like,
No, that's true.
Oh, that's true.
it could be tiny.
It's true. Yeah, that mountain behind him is pretty massive, so he could be shrunk down quite a bit, or taken a tank and shrunk it down after sitting on top of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
This really, who knows?
He could be
It's
really
size
small, or he could be
shenanigans.
really big. Or he could
knows
just be
size?
the average size, and that could be a metal horse that he's sitting on. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is from the comics. There's no telling. Yeah.
Now, we are in a unique spot because I think Boomguy has access to a list of where people find the comic art. You may not have that pulled up right now. And I'm asking this question now on the cuff because I just realized that it's got no artist on the bottom there. But I need to ask you afterwards for a link if it's an easy, free share thing for future purposes.
It will. I will send it to you. I don't think so it looks like the list that I used is not updated into Civil War yet. So I cannot tell you, based on the reference I have, where it comes from. But I will send you that link because somebody maintains this and updates it. I'll drop the link in the chat, and then you guys can use it in the future. It's not
Awesome.
mine.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Of course.
Perfect.
Someone shared it with me. I'm just passing it along.
This is great. So if you guys do know, again, there's comment sections down below to leave that on where it might be found. So very cool. But it is a neat piece. Do you guys feel like this art piece fits? Or is it good? Do you feel like it's an enjoyable piece of art?
I don't know. I think the hard time that I have with it is it's all sort of monochromatic. It all feels kind of brown. Like there's just not enough of a difference in the color for it to be super interesting.
So I like the artwork. I think it looks like Yellow Jacket, Hank Pym. He looks like, we're not exactly sure what's going on in the picture, but it looks like he's just ready to do something, and he looks like he's having a good time doing it.
Yeah, I think the art here, I agree with what Earth Twister said. I do think it's a bit the background's a little muddy, and the colors are all this kind of orange brown tone, which doesn't do a lot for me. I feel like instead of being that striking yellow and black color scheme that I see a lot, it looks kind of orange and brown, and it all flows together. I don't know, maybe just a poorly chosen panel here in that sense. However, I will say it gives a pretty clear view of the subject, right? It's the crop of the original image does show very clearly this is Yellow Jacket. You can see his whole costume with like the little shoulder pads and the helmet, the ear antenna thing he's got. So you can clearly see him in his costume. Why he's wearing like a singlet with wings on his shoulders is unclear, but you can see that he's wearing it. So yeah, I think it's functional, right? It shows you the ally, it shows you a picture. I can't tell what he's doing. Maybe it doesn't matter. So for me, it's kind of middle of the road. It does what it needs to, but it's not particularly exciting.
It's tough to say because I agree. I think it gives you that full view of, you can look at the card and you go, yep, there's a guy named Yellow Jacket, clearly has a Yellow Jacket symbol on his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I'm not sure what's going on with those shoulder pads and how effective they can be in combat, but especially it's high enough that can you even look left and right? It's almost like horse blinders. But I guess if you can grow to any size, it doesn't matter what direction you can look because you can just kind of see a little bit of everything. So you get a full view that there's this guy named Yellow Jacket on the screen, and I think that is what you're aiming for when you're pointing out an ally card. But I agree, if I was to be like, oh sweet, this is sitting on my table, I might just forget it's there because it blends in with my black mat, play mat behind it, because it is gray. It's got those browns and those yellows. It doesn't pop. It doesn't stand out. Just comparing it to like Jubilee's front card, there's action, there's movement, there's color. It kind of pops and stands out. So I wouldn't say it's bad art. I think it clearly depicts what it's supposed to do, but I would just kind of curious if there'd be other options out there with some different ways to make Ant-Man just pop a little bit more. Or not Ant-Man, sorry, Yellow Jacket pop a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what other choices they had, but again, I think it's fine. It's perfectly functional, but it's not exciting.
With it being a short stint, too, that he was a Yellow Jacket, and then if you're picking comic book art, he wasn't there for very long in the 2000s. I think that most of them come from the 2000s. It's maybe been just harder to find it.
Yeah, totally agree.
Does the character on this card, or even the description of the card, does it feel like the comic book information we received, the story, the lore that we received? Does it fit?
I mean, I think it fits the inventor background that we get with Hank Pym, right? He's searching for upgrades in your deck. I think mechanically that translates pretty well to the theme of him being an inventor, searching a lot of upgrades or tech or their weapons or their armor, or there's some kind of constructed thing that you can add to yourself, a suit or something like that. So in that sense, I think it works. I think he is an Avenger, right? He clearly is an Avenger in the lore. And I think searching for things to upgrade does make sense. So I think that translated it fairly well. In terms of like his stats and why he takes 2 consequential, I don't really know.
That was interesting. Maybe because of his psyche, taking damage impacts him more. It's the Hank Pym side fighting against this Yellow Jacket persona.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. It's odd, though, I think.
And then the only thing I can think of for the attack is if you're growing and shrinking that much, it's got to take a toll on your body eventually. But we don't know if he used those powers as much necessarily. So, but you got to think that deep into why there's consequential damage.
Yeah, it could not be
Just
thematic. It could just be a mechanical thing, right? They don't want him to stick around too long. Then he could be overpowered, or he's meant to just leave play quickly. I don't know. I think it's not a huge thing, but 2 consequential damage isn't terribly common, so it's like a choice.
And then for it to be both stats, like you get a lot of other allies that have 1 consequential on one stat or the other, and 2 on the so it's strange that it's on both.
To me, a lot of the times, like whenever you have a character that has 2 consequential damage, normally they'll have a little bit more health.
For for sure you do see that in Wolverine, or a way to get health back because of his consequential damage.
Something like that.
Because I think we talked about that last week, where it makes sense he gets the double there because he's running in face first to everybody that he fights. So he's taking extra damage because he's getting toe-to-toe with people. But here, yeah, it is a little harder to see. Again, mechanically it makes sense if you want to try to cycle it faster to get it out, because you're looking for more of those upgrades for Tigra, which is the kit he came in, so you're looking for more of her hunted upgrades. It helps you find those a little bit faster. But you're right, for other Avengers, it's going to be a huge help for them finding things too, especially if you're trying to get your kit cycled through faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is like, I don't know, I don't want to get too far ahead, but for me, he's like one of the new star allies I've been using. I don't play a ton of allies. I've been playing a ton of Black Widow the last few months. He is an amazing card for Black Widow. He's like my 15th card almost all the time now. She has so many upgrades and preparations. It fits really well. There's a lot of heroes that have key upgrades you want to find. And so super power training was a way that a lot of people are using that since it came out, because it digs for those identity-specific upgrades. But this is another great way to get an ally on there to grab things that you really want to use, like Captain America's Super Soldier Serum, or preparations for Black Widow, or friction resistance for Quicksilver. There's so many key upgrades, Ant-Man's helmet, etc. So you can go on and on. This is another way to get those.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to jump right into the best uses there. And I didn't even think about Black Widow and those preparation cards. That is genius, because you can cycle through those so much faster. Find one that you need right off the bat.
Yeah,
and
she has so many of them. No, you're always going to find one with her. It's great. But in Valkyrie recently, I've been playing a lot of her, and getting Dragon Fang early is important. So having another way to get that, it finds upgrades that might discard throughout the game. Like for Valkyrie, that's Flight of the Valkyrior. For Black Widow, it's all her preparations. Like all these things that go away, you might cycle through again and again. It's a great way to find them over and over again.
We can even use it for like rapid response and things like that too in leadership, which is really cool, because then you can almost have him cycle through himself over and over, keep coming out, doing 2 damage, come right back in, find another rapid response, attach it to him. That could be a very interesting build in the long term to see if that would work out. Make the call, brawl back in, rapid response.
Yeah.
Kind of interested in that now. But I did play him a lot in Tigra when I was learning to play Tigra and testing her out, and he is a key part to getting her hunteds out or finding other upgrades, finding her claws and different things like that too. I do need to test him in some other Avengers. I just been experiencing some other... With LADT, I didn't end up drawing him, so it has a bit in my rotation right now.
Yeah, but Hulkling, he draws those double resource shapeshift upgrades too. Yeah, he has so many applications. I think he's just a super strong ally that can get whatever you need. If you're playing the old school Thor, he needs all those Asgard upgrades early on, the one that gives him hand size and hit points and all that. Like, there's just so many cards, especially Avengers, that benefit from him.
That is the only downfall, is that it requires an Avengers trait to play him. It makes sense, but I think he would do well in X-Men or even some Guardian upgrades that are out there too, that are huge.
Yeah, for sure.
At least for like Star-Lord.
Yeah, without that, he'd be too good though, I think, without that restriction.
Yeah, I mean, it could be an interesting way to build a deck. If you have an X-Men, you include him in your deck. But if you're playing multiplayer, you have somebody give you Honorary Avenger or whatever that... I think it's Honorary Avenger. It gives you the Avenger trait. Now you can play him. I mean, if you're looking at trying to get him on the table,
playing with Rogue and using him in Rogue's kit to find some of her upgrades or upgrades in that kit, she can touch somebody else that's an Avenger and cycle him through too. So there are a way around that, I guess.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Levi, we've dominated the conversation here. What are some of your thoughts, bud?
Yes, I think it's cool. I mean, I do like the card. I have played him. I take that back. I haven't been able to play him, but I have put him in my Hulkling deck that I have played with the hope of playing him, but I just haven't had much opportunity to play him. But yeah, I think he's great. I mean, the idea that he is an event, like you have to be an Avenger to be able to play him, I really don't see that as much of like a downfall, because there are so many Avenger characters out there, and kind of like what you guys were saying, like, I mean, there are ways still around that. And like, that's
nice
not
that
much of a
basic.
downfall. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No, yeah. And it is great that he is basic, yeah. And like the 2 consequential damage, like I think Jason, you were saying, I mean, yeah, like it might be because he's like growing and shrinking and yeah, I don't know about like I've never read an Ant-Man or any Yellow Jacket or anything like that comics, but I know in the movies, I know anytime they do that, like it can take a toll on them physically.
I think you see it in Civil War movie where Scott Lang gets so big that he passes out. You know.
And then he
Yeah,
wakes
he
up asking
says
for orange slices.
Yeah.
in the second Ant-Man movie, he references it and he says that he like slept for like a week or something after.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Man, we've talked about that. We've talked about best uses. I think this is the part we always enjoy. I think it's Levi's favorite question.
Should we have a hero pack of him? Is that the question you were talking about?
Yes, sir.
Do you think he could make a good hero pack?
I think it could be a very interesting hero pack. I think it would give a different spin, especially as we discover more about him later on with the Ant-Man card. Could give a different spin on the Ant-Man perspective that we've already got with the form change with the 3 forms. Scott Lang brings that big and that small, and so does Wasp, who, I don't know, somebody said recently Wasp is a bad Ant-Man, and I disagree with that. I think they're both 2 different unique form flip heroes, but that's a different conversation for another time. But I think a Yellow Jacket Hank Pym could bring a very different perspective. We could get more of a an Angel type feel, where because of the psyche damage, right? Like if you flip into Yellow Jacket, you're taking maybe more an acceleration token on his card, or you could be taking an extra encounter card because you're not thinking as straight as if you are Hank Pym or you're in the Ant-Man form. But I think it could be fun to have him as a hero pack.
I think something that would like really go well with him would be like some kind of an obligation where it's something like "Who am I?" where he's like questioning his sanity, and then so because of that, it'd be something like a picture of him like in a psych ward or something because he has like he's losing himself, and so with that it would force you to flip to alter ego form, and probably and become confused. Become confused.
I mean, I don't know if there's anybody I would answer that I don't want a hero pack for them, or I don't think they'd make a cool hero pack. I think FFG has done a really good job, and the designers have done a great job with taking really marginal characters I've never heard of and turning them into fun, playable characters. So I have full faith if they dedicated themselves to a Yellow Jacket pack, it would be dope. But, you know, I think just digging for upgrades and finding stuff like this is an interesting way to do it. It's like a twist on Shuri's ability to search for tech, right? She can exhaust and search for tech and put it into play. I think this is another twist on that. It could be a way of digging through to find certain cards, whether they're traded a certain way or there are all these upgrades. You know, he could be a very upgrade heavy card that's cycling stuff in the way that Hulkling does. There's so many different ways to do that. But yeah, I think it could be really cool. I'm open for anything FFG wants to do, really.
I think it would be really interesting because I think the main way that I've seen Yellow Jacket in any form of media, whether that was kind of a niche game, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I think he appears in that. Maybe I think in the background of one of the levels, and he's in giant form. And so any of the game, any media that I've seen Yellow Jacket, like specifically Hank Pym, he more so goes into the giant form, as opposed to Ant-Man. He goes more into like the small form. And I think it would be interesting just to see him like have, like, yes, the form changing, but he doesn't get a small form maybe. And he's more about, when he's in the smaller form, he's more about trying to get you upgrades maybe. More about trying to do the science thing. But then when he goes giant, he's there to deal damage and maybe messes around a little too much and adds some threat to the scheme because he's helping the bad guys a little bit unintentionally. I don't know.
Maybe not being as uniform with the rest of the Avengers because his psyche has changed to be more focused on himself and being I'm the cool guy or the strong big guy. That's an interesting thought. Very cool. I agree though. I definitely am excited for anything FFG wants to make. I think Levi likes to end always with, "Hey, hire me. I've got a cool plan already laid out here for you."
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, not these guys though. Just me. Just me.
Oh, of course. Well, sweet. Any last thoughts? Anything we missed or should talk about before we go right into our ratings? All right. Well, Boomguy, since you are the guest, we'll let you do the final rating. We we do it a little bit different here. Each of us kind of have our own rating scales. And so we'll let you in with whichever one's your favorite, whether you want to do the normal one you do in the winning hand or go from winning hand to losing foot, whatever you prefer. So,
all right.
But Levi, we'll let you jump on in, buddy.
Yeah, I think Yellow Jacket, I think he deserves something really cool here. I think he deserves to be rated as a peregrine falcon. If you don't know what a peregrine falcon is, what these, for one, they're a type of falcon. But they're not just any kind of falcon, they're a peregrine falcon. So what these animals do is they love to fly really, really high, and then they'll dive bomb their prey. And so they are known to be some of the fastest animals on the planet because they're dive bombing so fast. So they're very, very cool animals. Yellow Jacket is a very, very cool card. I think this is a very, very cool card. So I believe, Yellow Jacket, it's a peregrine falcon.
Peregrine falcons aren't very big, right? They're one of those smaller birds of prey, right?
Yeah,
but
they're smaller.
So interesting fact I always love to share about birds when we talk about it, the falcon specifically. They are the ones that when you watch movies and you see the bald eagle flying across the movie and that sound that it makes, that's actually the sound of a falcon. Because the bald eagle has the wimpiest sound.
It's a weird sound.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd share that. It's a little bonus tidbit there for you.
That is true. I didn't know that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So what I would rate him, probably at a B. He's helpful. If I'm looking for an upgrade card, he can get it for me. That may be a little bit more helpful early game. But as the game goes on, I don't think he's quite as helpful. And I really don't love playing an ally for 3, knowing that he's only going to be able to do like maybe one thing. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of him. I do see the value of him searching my deck, but if my deck hasn't been built around upgrades, I feel like it'll fail more often than not.
That's a good point. I think that could depend on what kind of decks you're building too. So, because I think you're right. If it's not an upgrade heavy deck, he may not fit in that mold. But I think for me, it is a Yelp review. We're gonna do that a 4-star for Yellow Jacket. I really do like this card. I think he is a solid hero that helps me find things I need at the crucial times and covers my back while I get the upgrade set up. So 4 stars for old Hank Pym.
Well, I think I'm maybe highest on this card. For me, this is a 10 out of 10 card. I think this is exactly what I want in a basic ally card. It is a mild trait lock, so you can only play it if you have a certain trait. You can cheat that by putting it into play with make the call or putting it into play with, call for backup, stuff like that. You can avoid the play restriction. But if you're just speaking to this, it's going to be a card that doesn't work for everybody. So it's not an immediate auto include everywhere. It's not Professor X. It also has a very interesting ability that even if you are an Avenger, you may not want it for every Avenger deck. So you want to find the ones where it really is going to make the difference, where you have a high density of things you want to find or something very crucial that you need to find. And for me, the final piece is you have to be able to afford the upgrade that you pull out. So you can't play a 3-cost ally, which will generally, without a resource generator, cost you 4 cards from your hand. And then you pull something in your hand that you then can't play. Then you're holding a card that's pointless. So it needs to be able to pull in a cheap upgrade or something you really need. I mentioned Black Widow at the top. I think for me, this is like just Black Widow's 15th card almost, or 16th card, whatever, because it's so likely to hit what you need. And you are so likely to play whatever it is because of her gauntlets that have resource generators for those preparations. You're just going to be able to play it. I have been playing it recently with Quicksilver, who is ironically or sadly just very slow to set up. But he has some key upgrades you want to find, including friction resistance and the 3 the stat upgrades he has. So this is another good outlet for him. He also has just like a 2/2 stat line, which is just solid. So if you're playing true solo, that 2 thwart is what everybody wants, but 2 attack is really good too. For me, I don't know what else I would want from this ally other than what he already has. So I'll give it 10 out of 10.
I like it. 10 out of 10 is great, with 5 being right in the middle. So that's a solid card.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. Well, we do appreciate you coming onto the show, and thank you so much for bringing some awesome lore and bringing a fantastic ally. And again, guys, if you aren't following the Winning Hand podcast, you absolutely need to. Just like Boomguy said for us, if you haven't left him a 5-star review, definitely go do that, because they are an awesome podcast, definitely worth your time, talking about some incredible cards. So thank you again for coming and joining us on this show.
Yeah, I thank you to Earth Twister, Levi Lewis, and Jason Sketch for having me on. You know, I've been following your show off and on since you started. I'll be honest, I don't consume as much Marvel Champions media as I used to. I have a lot going on, but you are one of the ones I chicken on, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. Thanks for being awesome community members and putting good content out for everybody. So I'm happy to be here. Excited to share the mics with you guys. So thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been a real joy having you on the podcast.
All right. Well, we will do our sign off here, and we each going to kind of individually do our own sign off. And so Levi will go first, Earth Twister, then myself, and then we'll let Boomguy have the final word.
All right.
So I'm Levi Lewis. Watch out for those wombats out there.
I've been Earth Twister. Stay twisty.
My name is Jason Sketch, and next time I'll be deadly serious next time.
Well, I don't have a fancy sign off, but thanks everybody for watching and for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Sweet. Well, whenever you are ready, just go ahead and we can get things kicked off, and then when it comes down, you'll kind of see on there we got like LLET. We'll announce ourselves after you read the intro there, and then we'll kind of keep.
Am I meant to do the intro? I was going to ask because I saw it. It looks like I'm scripted to read that, but I didn't.
If you're comfortable with it,
yeah, I've never done an intro to a podcast. Do I just read it, or do I need to like? I'm kidding.
You can sound like a robot. You can totally sound like a robot if you want to.
Can I try to do like the fake TikTok lady voice? Can we do that? Are we doing accents? Are we doing voices? How do we do this?
I would love that.
Literally, I don't know if you guys know who Villain Theory is? Probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Literally
yes.
every time we record together, I tell him that he should do a fake American accent and I should do a fake British accent. And we should not mention it or make anything, just pretend like these are our voices and just do the whole episode.
The entire time.
Straight. But he never agrees to do it. So he never did. But I tell him everything. We should just do it. I think it'd be funny. But hey,
I think everybody would love that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I just go. No intro.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready. 3, 2, 1. Boomguy.
Episode 28 show notes. Oh, sorry. Don't read verbatim. Sorry, I skipped that. I'm just messing with you guys. It's all good. This isn't serious. This is a hobby podcast about a card game. We'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be good. Breathe a little bit.
Yeah, we like to have fun with it. Okay.